Oh my God. I think I did it.
You did it.
Hello.
You figured
Russell.
it out. Live from Connecticut.
Live from Connecticut. This is our first podcast and last podcast on the road.
In a hotel
what
room
a nightmare.
together, 2 queen beds.
Welcome to the downside. This is a special episode. I decided to try like an extra special episode with this video component.
Yeah.
While we're in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Hello, Russell. I just, for those tuning in, I'm headlining Comics Mohegan Sun, and Russell and Chris and Douglas from our sketch team, Uncle Function, are coming up tonight to party.
And I'm here early.
Russell got
Putting
here.
in hard labor.
Well, speaking of labor, Russell didn't parked where he thought it was free.
Yeah.
So it was very far away, and he brought a whole mini bar with him.
Not so many.
Not so many. It was a full
size bottles.
So I just lugged this cooler of all sorts of liquor. I mean, I'll be honest, when I saw it all, I was like, we're not going to drink all of this.
I know. Well, so I had it because I was coming from Cape Cod with a full bar. So I was like, oh, this will be fun to like put out, entertain. It was fun if there had been a cart involved in bringing up the materials to the hotel room, but there was no cart as I thought. So we did carry it all up.
No, yeah, Russell thought there was no cart at this one of the
I made
biggest
up rules.
casinos in the world.
I made up rules in my head. Well, no, I stopped. I asked a woman. She didn't seem like maybe she had all the answers, but I asked a woman who worked here. I said, "Where can I get a cart?" She goes, we don't have those here. You have to valet your car, and then the bellman will bring it up for you. I interpreted that as that's going to cost me mucho dollars.
Mucho dollars.
And so I chose against that, and I did the free parking about a mile away from the hotel room. Gianmarco, I have things to say about, okay,
what?
We're going to entertain today. We're entertained tonight. You have clothes everywhere. You've been here for 12 hours.
So here's the deal. When you headline,
You're going to make your bed. I'm telling you right now. You're going to make the bed.
You're going to make me make my bed?
I will make the bed if you don't, because we're going to have people over. Look at this pigsty. Told you to get housekeeping in here.
So Russell texted me before he came. He said, please clean up, make sure your place is not a cum dungeon. Is that what you called it? Which was very accurate.
Well, you get to a hotel. We all know how we are.
Well, of course.
Get to a hotel alone?
Especially, I headline on the road. They give me a hotel with two beds.
Yeah.
I took both beds. I was sitting on both beds, eating on both beds. And then I remembered, I was like, wait a second. Isn't Russell staying in the room with me that night? And so I was like, oh. So I called and I was like, could I get a full service today? And they said, no, we don't do full service until you leave the hotel.
Oh, okay.
So I quickly gathered.
You quickly threw everything into 17 piles.
I cleaned off your bed.
No, my bed looks great. But
if you see little color splotches, that's like raisins.
Not cum.
It's not cum.
Okay.
No, my cum is clear white, but I think it's really funny.
Clear white.
There's no hiding around it. That I put all the dirty clothes like on a side. And I got extra towels, but you'll notice in this pile,
giant bags of
there's
food.
just hand towels over there from all the hand washing I did.
Oh my God, you're a monster.
Oh man, there is really nothing like jerking off in a hotel room, though.
It's like if you're alone and you check into a hotel room and you know that you're just going to be there, it's just. First, the endless possibilities, you know?
Do you and Nicole, ever like rent a hotel room for like a special night, anniversary night?
Yeah.
Because there's just something about like, I can leave this.
I've had great
times
in New York, found like deals a couple times for like just a night, like day of thing.
Yeah.
And that's so fun to do it in like where you don't have to travel too far and it's like right there.
Yeah, I should mention we have one new Patreon subscriber. I can't look it up right now because everything is being operated right now. But we have a new Patreon subscriber and an old Patreon subscriber that I guess is my girlfriend, Tova Silverman. Hello, Tova. So glad you're listening to the Patreon episodes.
What did she have a fake name?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't. It must be something.
well, because I thought we read off all the names one time. And
We read off all the names. I'm gonna look for like a really Jewy one because I just feel like that's her pseudonym is something Stein or Owitz.
Yeah.
Owitz. Yes, hotel room. I remember like, especially, and this is pre-Tova, where like you sometimes get a hotel room and I'm like, well, I should be having sex in this room. This is the nicest room. Because you do these gigs and you stay in hotels that I could never afford otherwise.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was like the General Electric, when I was doing those commercials, they put me up in a hotel in LA that was like the most stunning room. And I really tried to text like the few women I knew in LA being like, hey, just such a like lame guy. Like, hey, I'm in LA at this hotel. You wanna, but no.
Yeah.
So you just end up masturbating. And frankly, it's probably better.
Yeah.
You get to walk around, look at the view.
This is a great view. Good view. What is that? The ocean? No, it's not. Not the ocean.
You thought that was the ocean?
No. I didn't mean to say that. Is that the?
That's France right over there. That's Paris.
We got a small body of water that is clearly not the ocean we're looking at. Yeah. So I'm excited to be here. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I feel a little bit anxious because, well, many things. First, we planned this night, and then we had a podcast recording. We have our first live episode tomorrow, Sunday at 3.
Yeah.
So we have to get up to drive to it. Not crazy early, but not late.
No.
And
well, it'll feel early when we're going to bed at 5, 6 a.m.
What time? If you were to guess, what time do you think we're gonna go to bed?
I don't know. We're
tonight?
having dinner at 10 p.m. So I don't know. I've been coming off a vacation where it was like very chill and everyone was kind of going to bed at like 10.
Yeah,
so it'll be different tonight.
Yeah.
But I'm a pretty late guy anyway. So I nothing before 2 is shocking to me.
For sure.
You
but I
know?
don't think we'll go to bed at 5. I feel like 4.
I think
I think we're
4 would be
all in our
pushing it.
30s.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a 2 to 3:30ish.
That would be totally cool.
You know,
for
you
me.
get 4.5, 5 hours of good sleep.
I also think you
shower
guys
off.
will be drinking way earlier than I'm going to
Oh my
start
God,
drinking.
I'm surprised I'm not drinking right now. Yeah.
So it's just one of these things. I have 2 headlining shows tonight, which is exhausting. I'm doing 55 on each at least.
Yeah.
So 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. And you guys are coming to the 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Always a little
We'll see if we
nerve-wracking.
make it.
I told you guys I wouldn't really care if you because I think last time you guys came it was you and Chris.
Yes.
And Chris and I were competitive with each other, and I remember I did this joke. I always try to work in new stuff, and I did this joke about the MTA, and it was about Andrew Cuomo, rest in peace, and it was a joke that bombed. I think it's a funny joke, whatever. But I tried it in Connecticut, of all places. You tried to do a New York joke in Connecticut, and it fell flat. And Chris laughed so hard at me bombing in that moment. And there's this thing when other comedians are there, I'm like, I want to just crush. But
I felt you crushed last time. It was a good crowd.
Yeah.
They were a little weird. It was a little. It's a crowd that comes to a casino, so no judgment.
Sure.
I'm in the crowd. It's Yeah.
But comedians can tell.
Yeah.
Like I can watch a show and I can see no matter how fast the comic is moving, I'm like, they thought there would be a laugh there and there was not.
Yeah. How many people are on the show tonight?
It's just me and my feature, JP McDade.
That's it. Just 2.
Mm-hmm. They cut the host because of COVID and never brought it back. It's one of those things where I'm like, they slim down financially, and I don't think it's ever going to go back to where it used to be because they were like, oh, it can work this way.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to have you. When was the last time you saw me do stand up?
Geez, I don't know. You're special?
What,
No.
Maybe it would have been my special.
Could have been.
I'd say of all of Uncle Function, you've been the most visiting. You've been the best.
I come to the
hanging
big
out.
ones.
You come to the big ones.
I'm coming to a couple. I'm coming to this thing and then another thing on Monday.
Oh yes, I think I could just. I don't think I have to hide it.
I don't think so either. I mean, by the time this comes out,
I will have already been rejected. I'm doing they bill it as a character showcase on Monday, but it's a showcase for Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live, folks.
it really came out of nowhere.
Live from New York is Gianmarco Soresi.
I submitted stand-up comedy, which is like, they want you to do a character reel, but I don't have a lot of characters. I did it last year, and I was like, I'm not fucking slaving over this video.
I filmed a character reel this year, and then I didn't edit it because I was like, no one ever sees that video when I send it. No one. I just
that's the thing.
I was like, I don't have a way right now. I don't have no way to send that. So I was like, I'm not doing this. I can't psychologically do it again. Like I can't make that, edit it. I had fun doing it, putting it together, but it's also like, it feels like such an assignment that I was like, without any sort of drive to be like, you're really doing it. I can't do it anymore unless it's like someone's like,
if you were on a characters team on UCB and you had all these characters like that you had worked out the script of and could just make tight versions, is one thing. But it's that's always the balance of the industry where it's like there are these submissions, but you really need to know people there to at least make sure it gets seen, or have an agent or a manager that's going to make sure it gets seen. We submitted stand-up. I really did not think anything of it, so I'm on this showcase on Monday. I don't know if like Michael Che will be there. Lauren doesn't come to these things, but it's just cool. But I feel anxious because now we're doing this party. We got this live podcast, and then this is going to be the first time I meet my managers are going to be there for the first time because of COVID. We never met, so I've been having like insane anxiety. I had a show. This will be my downside. I had a show on Wednesday before I came up here to headline. A big show in a restaurant. Very good lineup. There were like 200 people there, and I closed. It was a very long show. They were very white, cool Brooklyn. Some rich, some woman who must have been like an heiress, like had like a security guard who said, "So and so would like your card. Could I get it for them?"
Oh God!
And I did not do well. I had a very mediocre set. And I followed Daniel Simonson, who did a guest spot on Uncle Function, and Tom Takar, who's a great comedian. And I had a full-on meltdown. Tova was there, and I did like mediocre. And I that mixed with the SNL, I was like,
what do you think contributed to it?
Oh,
a mixture of like just. You were like a little off, and then also the crowd.
I was maybe a little bit off. The crowd like definitely wasn't into any of those super dark punchlines about like that were like dark or mean.
Yeah.
So they weren't into the mean stuff. I tried to do this new open with the vaccine that worked really well on TikTok, and it got like I had to move on immediately.
Yeah.
So it wasn't fine. I did not like bomb, but I wanted to like crush.
Right.
And it's sometimes you see these big crowds and you're like, oh, this is where I'm going to ride the wave. And it's not that. So off, maybe I'm a fucking hack. As I told Tova that night, I said, maybe I'm just a fucking hack. And as I move up the ranks, it will be revealed to me that I'm just, this has all been a fraud.
But isn't everyone a little hack in their own way? And sometimes
I think everyone's a little bit hack, and there's different versions of hack.
Yeah.
But
because like you can, depending on what community of comedy people you're around, everyone's kind of doing something that's probably hack. Yeah.
I think it's just like I'm a very punchliney guy. Like it's very like one-lineries, and like when it's not doing well, you start to feel like a Catskills comic. Like, all right, here's another one. Like, there's something about laughter that makes it feel more conversational, because it's like I say it and then we laugh and we wait and we move on to the next one. But when there's not that space, you're just like, set up punchline, popsicle stick joke. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
So I just I have a couple a year of just like a show that doesn't go well, and I'm like, I suck.
Yeah.
And Tova's very sweet.
Yeah.
There's also this thing with relationships where like Tova has her own, emotional things that happen in life. And sometimes I'm like, and I was there. And relationship wise, it's like I've accrued value in terms of like, I was the one who was supportive and she owes me. But then all of a sudden you're like, you need them fully. And you're like, well, we are fully even now. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And there's just a real back and forth. Who cries more in your relationship?
It's good that you're measuring.
No, it's not like but you're like I'm the strong one in this relationship. Yeah. That's what it is. It's like I'm the strong one, and then something happens, and you're like, I am the weak one, and I am the needy one, and I am the one that is going to be left.
I definitely cry more,
really,
but I wouldn't say like relationship stuff wise.
Yeah,
I'll see something on TV or something, and I'll think about it a lot, and it makes me cry. And then I'll tell Nicole the next day that I watched this thing, and I'll re-cry thinking about that thing. But
Who's needier?
I don't cry a lot. Nicole, well, I would say like depending on the day, but I think Nicole is better about being like, I am needy right now for this specific thing. Like for just your, because sometimes you're like, you live in a small apartment, you're like, you just can check out sometimes. It's like, especially in COVID times, you're like not getting the normal amounts of space away from people. So, but she's really good about being like, hey, I like, this is what I need from you right now. Whereas I sometimes can't articulate what I need, and it ends up being like me being like kind of like just sort of, I notice it when I don't answer, like if I'm not answering texts and I'm like, I'm not answering emails and I'm like not talking to Nicole that much. I'm like, I'm like, there's something going on where I'm retreating, but it doesn't happen that often with me. But I do notice it when
she can tell you're yelling at the cat, yelling at Louis more often. Yeah. There was recently where I yelled at the Alexa in a way that was clearly like yelling at Tova.
Oh no!
There was just like where it was to Alexa. I was like, cancel all the alarms. Yeah. Alexa, cancel the alarm, because it was just like I was having like an insomnia night, but it was just like, it's just clearly, if I could change Alexa's name to Tova. Oh, relationships. But hello, Tova. Thanks for being here. So today we're going to talk about this episode of that we did that came out.
It came out. Finally.
I didn't know that it would come out.
I didn't either. I just got a random text from a friend who saw it on Roku and sent it to me.
Some of you, if you're a true blue Debbie Downsiders, which is one of the names we're going to do, a lot of alliterations, negative Nancy's, Debbie Downsiders.
What's the male equivalent or any other equivalent?
I see Debbie as a gender neutral name.
Oh, you're right. You're so right. I'm sorry. My apologies.
What's a negative Nathaniel?
No, it's got to be a D, dumbass.
A D. Depressed Daniel.
Downsider? No, it has to be like a name.
Debbie.
It can still be Downsider.
Debbie Downsider.
I like Debbie Downsider.
Danny Downsider.
I had a teacher named Debbie Downs, so it reminds me of her.
Downs?
I think so.
Really?
Okay. Maybe we'll bleep out this name.
No, please, no. I hate adding bleeps. It's so much work.
Let's pretend that that's not her name. Let's say it's a different name, but I know her last name was Downs. No, it wasn't. Oh, it was not Debbie Downs. Okay, so I'm gonna just say that her name was Debbie Downs, but her last name was Downs. It'd be funny if it was
Downs. If it was Debbie Asperger's, and that's how you miss it.
No. Her last name was Downs, and she. I don't know. I'm not. Why am I telling this story?
What did she do?
Anyway, she was like one of those.
She was one of the hidden Patreon members.
Like she was like a new teacher when I was like a junior in high school. And I remember we did some like student leadership conference thing. And I remember going to the hotel, and she'd be like, she would just say things where you're like, why are you? She needed friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you're like, oh, like. No, I remember being so embarrassed for some teachers when they needed that when I was young. And I remember her making a joke. We were in a Hilton, and we were like checking into the Hilton, and she was like across the hall from our room. So she goes, oh, we're in a Hilton, like the Paris Hilton sex tape. I was like,
what grade was this?
I was in 11th grade, but I didn't say anything because I was just like, it was just embarrassing. It was like trying to be like cool, be like, I'm a teacher and I know about sex tapes. But but like me and the other student, we didn't say anything to her, so we were like, yeah, like cool pop culture reference. But anyways, that her last name was Downs, and I hope she's doing well.
Was she young?
I hope she found some friends.
I think a lot about these high school teachers, and I'm like, oh, they were 24?
I know. I think she was younger than I think. In my mind, she was 40 at the time, but I'm sure she was probably 27 when I was in high school,
I don't know if I've ever talked about publicly. This is luckily a small enough platform, but there were these teachers that, I'm going to try to be vague here. In high school, we went on a trip, and we were like friendly-ish, and we went on a trip, like a overnight field trip, and we ended up like getting wasted with them.
Oh, that's bad.
Like when I look back on it, yeah, I'm like, Were you guys out of your fucking
Can you
mind?
imagine finding a 16-year-old right now
Oh
to
my
drink
God.
with? I
Oh
would
my
be
God.
like, no. I don't care if it's a family member. I'd be like, no.
Especially on like
Without their parents there? Are you kidding me?
a field trip. Like I look back and I'm like, all three of you could have been like disbarred from teaching. Like
Is it called
in the
disbarred when you're
newspaper.
not a lawyer? Is it? I don't know. Maybe
But I'm sure like I mean like could have like with sex stuff. There was no sex stuff involved, but like
Thank God.
drinking with
No.
children who are underage and
You just don't know. Kids don't know how to drink at that age either.
and I blacked out.
So you're like, it's just so, it's so weird. Anyways, we got way
I don't
off
wanna get them in
topic
trouble.
of eye candy.
So eye candy. So I please, dear God, I hope this works. We're going to play it.
We should well, before we play it, we should tell what it is first, right?
Yes.
So,
So
like,
Russell and I again. So I was saying the True Debbie Downsiders. Apologies if you've heard some of this before, but we got 2 new Patreon members, so we got to do it for them.
great.
Russell and I during COVID, you were very much like COVID's a myth.
Shut the
and
fuck
I
up.
need to
No,
work.
I didn't.
So
I need to work. I need to do this game show, Gianmarco.
So I forget how I found out about it, and Russell and I like from weird circumstances, it seemed like we could do a game show together, or we had already like explored what our dynamic was as game show competitors. So we applied to this Quibi show called Eye Candy. And there was this Twitter frenzy where people were showing things that looked like they weren't cakes, but they were cakes. And it was a show. It was based on a Japanese TV show, which I forget what it was called, but I saw an episode of it.
Yeah.
Where it was like more like celebrities, Japanese celebrities, and they said, is this cake or is this not? And then they took a bite on TV, and if it was like actually a dirty shoe, if the audience would go fucking nuts, and there was like steam that would blow in their faces. It was very much a Japanese game show where they have like reaction cams in the audience. So Josh Groban was hosting it. They would pair us with celebrities, and we'd compete against each other, and we got it.
And we thought Chrissy Teigen was hosting.
Yes, Chrissy Teigen produced it, but
she was not, and now that works out because I think it would have been.
I don't think it would have been
It would
released.
not have gotten released if Chrissy Teigen was hosting. Although I think she's doing stuff again. I think they're kind of like
she's doing stuff,
testing
but
the
like,
waters.
especially when it comes to like quote unquote canceling people, Chrissy really did go into someone's DMs and was like, "Kill yourself."
Yeah.
Like told a
That is-
16-year-old
that is
as a
bad.
massive celebrity, "Kill yourself."
Yeah.
Which I would argue is worse than even other things. Like especially if she had done it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad. It's a bad thing. So thankfully Chrissy Teigen was not hosting.
Yes.
Josh Groban was hosting.
Groban. And back in my musical theater days, I was a Josh Groban fan.
Does he do You Raise Me Up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you like that song? It's a beautiful.
It's what I remember from an era.
You raise me up.
Wow, that was Gianmarco for the record.
That was
not
Josh. We just
me.
played a clip of Josh Groban. He's one of those opera boys, big fan base, and he's also one of these guys who like he loves comedy. Like he's one of those that I love comedy. I want to get into comedy, and so he was on The Office.
Yes. Oh,
He
yes.
was,
he was. In
what's
the
his name?
later
Ed?
Seasons. Ed Helms,
Ed Helms' brother,
something like that.
or his a cappella competitor.
Yes, one of the seasons of The Office.
Because they were like, we're gonna let you on The Office, but you got to be a singer on
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have to play into it. You can't just be
Yeah.
a wacky. He's like, let me do my Italian accent. It's very funny. So it was exciting to do something during COVID. We agreed
Yeah.
early on, 40-60 split.
Yes.
Loser gets 40, winner gets 60.
Yes.
So
So either way, we did, and we also didn't know for a while if we were on the same team or competing against each other. Then it became clear we were going to be competing against each other.
Yes. And
So either way, we would win money, hopefully.
yeah, looking back, Russell's job was still operating while all my work was wiped out. So I feel like
Let me tell you what. The amount of interviews that we both had to do for this job, COVID tests.
we had to do a like day before COVID test in a hotel room. They brought us to a hotel, very sketchy feeling, and there was a guy.
I mean, it was a lovely hotel. It wasn't a scary hotel. It was a nice hotel in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, but it's just like to go to a hotel room to get a medical test felt
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And the guy, what did he say? Basically, this was, of all the COVID tests, I've probably gotten 10 in my life. This one hurt the most.
It was bad. It was really, really aggressive. He said he was quick, but like hurt. Like he said something like, I do it quick, but I do it painfully. Like it was like something like that where you're like, well, you don't have to.
He said something, I was like, take your time. Take your time.
Take your time, sir. There's not that many people going to be on eye candy. Like it was like they were trying to get everyone in and out in an hour.
And this was still like a scary time. Like this, in terms of my COVID fears, like this felt like a little stressful. We're going to do a shoot. There wasn't a lot of things filming. I felt a little like naughty.
Yeah.
But yes, it hurt a great deal. Big burly. He was burly too. He felt like he could kill you with it if he wanted.
I don't remember that. I remember him being small.
I remember hearing.
But
I remember
that's 'cause
hearing.
I'm big and burly.
Sure.
Yeah.
I remember hearing the. Not up.
Oh my God!
That wasn't the sound I meant to make. Just like.
Ew.
Yeah, that's it.
Stop making these noises.
And it's like one of those sounds like, is that my brain that you're touching?
These are not noises that happen. You're like, I remember hearing these are just porn noises. Oh, this is very upsetting.
So we got the test, and now we have it here. I think so. So we show up on set, and it's all weird. Everything's distanced. It was in Jersey, I think, that we did it.
Mm-hmm.
And they put us in a room. You went the day before.
I went the day before. They needed someone for insurance purposes. Basically, if someone didn't show up, they were like, we'll pay you X amount of dollars if you can just come and just sit there and eat for free in a closed room with nothing. Like,
how much did they pay for that day?
I think it was over $500.
It would have been so weird if they put you on with some other random partner,
right.
and then would we not get to do it, and I would have murdered you.
Well, they were like, we know they're coming. We just need someone for insurance. So I was
also
like,
one of those.
sure.
I don't think you told me until you were there. So you were like,
Well,
I'm on set.
I didn't know
Quibi,
till
and I was like, what?
I didn't know till the night before. They called like at 8:30 p.m. and were like panicked that they didn't have someone for the next day.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they provide transportation there and back too. So I was sure,
whatever,
sure, take me.
But you were there a long time. You were there the whole day.
The whole day, and it actually they paid me more because it went beyond. I think they paid me $700 something because it was like it went like an hour and a half longer than they had anticipated it going. But it was funny because I got to see some of the celebrities.
Should we split that 60-40 too? The 700?
Oh, I put in all these hours.
In a way, you won extra.
I know, in a way. I did get to see the celebrities though the day before. So in my head,
who were the celebrities that day?
It was Bridget Everett was one. Rachel Dratch was one.
Rachel Dratch would have been.
Yeah,
like I did not know. Our celebrities are apparently very famous.
We told this story on the podcast at some point, but. Yes, our people. I think certain people would know them. Gianmarco, Soresi, and I were not two people who knew them. So
which is probably for the best because we're probably like super chill with them.
Yeah,
we're just
we were like,
because in my mind too, just so everyone knows, like it's like to do a game show. I'm like, I want people to. Like Aparna Nancherla did it. Joe Firestone did it. I think a lot of like comedy celebrities, and I would like people to think like I was booked for it. Because I'm a comedian, not I submitted as a person.
Yeah, well, I was billed as a digital communications director.
So let's go. We'll start playing this episode. The thing you should know is that because of COVID, there's no one there.
No one.
So
not one person.
You don't feel like being that energetic. Like I didn't want to. You know, part of me, like if I'm really like being hacky. Speaking of hacky, I'd be like, like I can be like big energy, but I want to like figure out what is my comedic persona when I'm on a show where they just want you to be like stupid
Yourself.
and goofy. But like just not. I don't want to like just be over energetic. I don't want to be lame. I guess I don't want to be corny.
I don't know if we did it then.
So here we're playing it. A Roku original, which is such bullshit. It's a Quibi.
No, it was Quibi.
It's a Quibi. Quibi R.I.P.
Things are not what they seem. They are totally sweeter. Get ready for eye candy from the conveyor belt challenge. It has to be. Does it? Beep, 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 beep. To the sweet suite. In this room, there are 3 desserts in disguise. Guess
So-
right, win big.
Remember, this is for Quibi, so it has this frantic pace.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Or this, it's a yoga mat.
It is.
So don't say it out loud.
No, it's not.
I'm Josh Groban, and this is eye candy. Delicious.
So
Let's meet.
one thing I want to say really quick is that so it has this thing where you're doing all this material and you know this is going to be a 7-minute episode.
Yeah.
So you're like, what is even going to make it into this thing?
You did a 2-minute joke for your intro.
Well, we talked about, but we did, I told a joke. Like Josh Groban was like, "You're a comedian, tell a joke." And I know from many times before, just don't.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is not right for a stand-up comedy joke. It just doesn't work. And I decided, though, against my better judgment, I was like, okay, I'll do my go-to, the joke gun to my head that I do, which I'm going to be doing tonight and doing for the SNL showcase about kissing my dad. And like, saying it out loud, it ends up taking like a minute or a minute and a half, and no one laughed. Not even Russell. Russell could have just given me a laugh, but no one laughed. And I was so terrified. I was like, you fucking moron. I told you I was so scared. Are they going to put that joke into the thing? So they show them like, because, when
That
you do
you're
these shows, they
stupid.
don't care if you look. They want to make you look whatever's
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like, they're going to put this joke in the thing and it's going to see me bomb.
Yeah.
And you were like, you think they're going to put a 2-minute joke in the 7-minute episode? That they're going to take 2 minutes out of the explaining the game, the cakes, the how they made the cakes.
They could have
And,
just they could have just said like cut it in a way that was like made you look bad, and then just give them the punchline and be like, like
It'd be like, it'd just be like, so my roommate saw me kiss my dad. I was like, it'd be weird if I only kissed him in private. They'll do that. These are monsters.
Well, and so also we should say that we got in trouble. We got in trouble, not real trouble, but so there was not a lot of direction. I don't know if there was a director or it was just kind of like someone was assigned to like tell people it's starting. But there was, so we were in there, we're in place, and then they're like, okay, guys, we're going to start now. And then we were like, okay. And then they're like, they did the countdown and then it started and Josh Groban did his intro. But there was no instruction of like, we're going to introduce you, do this, blah, blah, blah. There was nothing.
Yeah.
So he did his introduction and then they said, let's meet our contestants, blah, blah, blah. And so they stopped and they're like, guys, we're going to go again on the intro. Could we get a little more enthusiasm? And we were like, we had no idea what camera was on us or like there was just no instruction.
Yeah.
So then I felt like I was like nervous because I was like, oh no, they think we're bad. They don't think we're good. We're going to have to really amp up the energy. And I think some of that comes through in this episode.
Teams, it's actor Jamie Chung with comedian Gianmarco Soresi. Buongiorno. Buongiorno to you. And it's actor and singer Brian Greenberg with digital communications manager Russell Daniel.
Crazy.
It's so funny.
It's gonna be fun. Let's get to the rules.
This is going to be fun.
Random items are going to be making their way down this.
So one thing I want to say, like, so you're like, but you're one of these people like in sketch, you're like super like loud and extroverted, and then in person you could be like kind of shy and quiet.
Yeah.
And the fact that you just fucking flipped that switch
Yeah.
for this thing, I was like, God damn!
I know, because can you imagine if I had just been like, like if it was real me, I just would have been a small half wave, like a hello. But I was like, I got nervous,
Yeah.
because of that thing, and I was like, okay, I have to be performative. I have to be like performer Russell in this moment.
And
you
it was
know?
great, but I think what's weird is when there's no audience and where the crew, like, and I think this is partly because of COVID, like everyone's just feeling like it's just cold. It's cold, it's sterile, there's bright colors, but you feel like you're in like a weird dystopian world.
Also, I will say, not to take anything away from the people, the guest artist, the celebrities. But I think if we had been paired with comedians like a Bridget Everett or something, I would have been like, okay, well, that's their job in this moment to like amp up the thing. But having met them a little, like we spent like 5 to 10 minutes with them, I was like, I don't know if we're going to get the energy
Yes.
and the thing from them. So I was like, so someone's going to have to step in here, especially with my guy, Brian Greenberg. He seems like a great performer, great singer from all accounts. Very nice man.
They're both so good looking. You're
so
like,
good
they're
looking,
not going
very
to.
sweet. But I knew that they weren't going to like get weird and get like a little loud.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I felt pressure.
Exactly as they seem to be, and some are tasty treats in disguise. Be the first to buzz if you think it's edible. 2 right guesses means you're on to the next round with the 3 strikes.
Did you think you were going to win?
I did. I thought I would be way better
From the beginning.
Yeah. And I almost did win. I think they fixed it so that you would
It's a
win.
little bonsai tree. So cute. Who wants to eat?
So
I mean, it could be plastic.
it's you're far away. We're in your mind. Everything looks like cake for a
Yes,
second,
everything.
and then as they bring it closer to you, you go, "You fool!"
Also, the bells don't work at all. It was like totally arbitrary on who they're picking.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't
Are you
eat
fucking
that.
kidding me?
Your husband is saying, don't do it, but unfortunately, it's not his choice right now. Eat the plastic. Eat the plastic. Eat the... Could be... Oh.
It's edible.
Is edible? Oh.
Good joke. Good joke. Not sweet. One thing I will say about game shows is that because there's money involved, whatever contract we signed, it really has language. Game shows, like legally, there are certain things about a game show where it has to be a real competition. So they can't fully stage it.
No,
Because there's something about
I
gambling
met
or money
there
that
was
they're...
I feel like 2 times in this game where they were like, "Who buzzed first?" And then they'd be like, "Let's check with blah blah." And I'm like, they don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's clearly like that same person who's not giving us directions. Like, that one. You know, like I don't.
I see. That's where I think you're wrong. I think
They had a electronic component where they can see who buzzed first?
you're acting like this is like going to the moon to like have 2 buttons and you
I
tell
saw
which one
how
buzzed
cheap
first.
the set was. I don't think they had the technology, Gianmarco.
Hey, you went in real cocky. So cocky. Shake it
I
off.
did not know if I would win or not, but I wanted to.
Into your flying lotus. Because it's a yoga mat. Oh, I can't
Very
tell.
tricky.
I can't tell at all. That looks like a yoga mat. It could be.
That is definitely a yoga mat.
I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Oh, wow, you're going for it.
I'm sorry. I just like pressing the button. I don't know.
I think it's
Now I'm trying to be like fun with her, but I'm like,
You were mad.
fucking
You were.
idiot.
Oh, no.
Because she really screwed up.
So we got 2 out.
I think, though, this is why I think it's rigged. They wanted the pretty woman and the comedian to go on. They did not want digital communications director and quiet singer man.
Box of crayons.
Definitely cake. I'm just joking. I don't know.
So we were scared to buzz because I'm like,
Because the last 2
But I
But it
knew.
did look
I
pretty.
knew.
Brian Russell, you got the winning buzz. Not since first grade have I eaten a delicious box of crayons.
I felt like this is more of a celebrity role to do this, but
So you, bro.
this angle,
We got food. We got crayons.
it tastes like sugar.
Please.
Wow.
this song. Num 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 num. Now what's so funny is they put this thing on a plate and you're saying it's so hard to eat, and it's like, yeah, it's clearly on purpose. They make you do this sketch called Piggy Boy.
Yes.
In Uncle Function, where you have to like get so low and and it's so funny that they just like they just do this so
That's
you
what
look
they
like
wanted.
a fucking
Yeah. They're like, let's take this little crayon box and make this piggy boy eat this crayon box.
Was it good?
No, it's not like a real cake. It's like just sugar.
Yeah.
You have a point.
I think some of the cakes were good.
2 strikes, no points.
Stop rubbing it in.
All right, let's see what's next on our conveyor belt.
How many? We have to get 2 or 3?
You have to,
I never say yes.
I think, get 2.
Don't do it.
Not a lie on the line there. Oh,
I did it.
baby, come on,
Oh, in
Jamie
this. Okay,
Gianmarco.
I see.
Yes. It's the moment of 2. Oh, yes.
I don't know.
I think he hated those puns.
I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know how to
I know.
respond. I remember that being tasty,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think like that's what I haven't figured out. I think game shows, it's tough. Like, do I like laugh at your dumb joke?
I know.
If I had a smart answer, I'd
Well,
make
because
something
all
mean.
he had was puns that they gave him,
Yeah.
Let's see what's next. Time to sharpen our senses. 'cause
What
it's a
you
razor.
knew right away?
Okay.
It was pretty shiny, I remember.
Gianmarco's freshly shaved. Russell, not so much.
It was so shiny.
To be clear, saying beep does not get you the beat. The
I think that was the funniest moment of the whole.
Jamie and Gianmarco.
See, I disagree. I think we had won that.
Jamie, this is for the round.
I'm ready.
Why? They would have given it to you to make it even more intense. Yeah.
Victory dances.
I think you did really great. You were very entertaining.
Please.
Is that it? Is that me gone? Did I just
kinda
lose?
this. Yeah.
Is that it? Is that the moment when we lost?
Yeah. So then
The
Russell-
rules are very strange too. There's
We're
like,
moving on to the next round. I'm sorry, Brian and Russell. You did so well.
I'm glad you got to try to eat something though. That's
Me
the
too,
fun
me
part.
too.
Welcome.
So then
oh,
Russell
okay.
just goes
So I've
away.
never seen this part yet.
They should have put you in the bowling arena. You haven't watched this part yet.
No,
That looks like my loser.
I've seen still images with you like deep throating a pinball, but
So they bring me into a room. It's a very cool bowling alley, and I have to pick. Originally, I
I
had
don't
to
know,
pick
very
5.
cool. But it is a bowling alley.
I had to pick 5 objects, but they only made it 4. They had us do alt lines in case they wanted to tighten it even more.
Okay.
So the one thing you don't get to see here is that I picked a very dirty shoe that was not cake. And like they cut that. I thought it was a funny bit, but
that's too bad.
they said 7 minutes.
Sweet. It is a seemingly ordinary.
And this is where it's the money. And this is the point. I want to win. It's either $1,000, $3,000, or $5,000.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to do
I
well.
knew you were going to get 5,000. I felt like when you went in there.
I was not sure. This place there's a lot of things to pick from.
I know, but I just felt good about it.
So the question is, what looks sweet? All right. Well,
One of the trophies, I don't know why, but that golden's really sticking out to me.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
See that trophy and not that trophy. You see that trophy looks a little weird too.
Could you get close to things?
No, you had to stay behind a certain line.
Okay. Think this cigarette butts.
Yeah, the ashtray. Okay, we're ready.
All right.
The ashtray, I
Gianmarco,
felt pretty
so,
confident.
Cigarette butts. That trophy up there. That other trophy.
'cause they're not gonna have you
trophy,
eat cigarette
and
butts.
then
Yeah.
This.
But they could have made plastic.
It was dumb to pick that second trophy. It was not. But so then we picked a shoe that was down there too.
Trophy over there. My junior league trophy.
It's pretty real.
It is real.
Let me just
Or
bite
is it?
the hand that feeds me.
Wow.
Sweet. That's a very
Well,
real
wait till I
trophy.
tell you
It's
that.
really real.
We still have another trophy.
Okay, so
Gianmarco, why don't you go get that?
I don't know how they edited this,
All right.
where I was
Maybe
confident
better
this
luck
trophy
with
was
this fight.
was
It's my
fake.
Junior Olympics trophy.
Don't
Oh my God. There we go.
please.
So that's $1,000 right there, right?
That's $1,000. So I'm like, okay.
So I'm confused. Okay.
Were you confused?
No. I'm just confused on. They're going to tell us that you won $1,000 right now.
I think so.
Okay.
With $1,000.
I think that we're not that interested in seeing those cakes be made for 3 seconds.
What would you rather have, more or less?
I understand needing to put that in to like.
Cake?
Please.
That just.
This would be a good. I think you should leave sketch of him like really
Yeah.
committing to chewing something that's clearly not cake.
$2,500.
You have one guess left. Is that a $5,000 bowling pin? Oh boy.
When you see it on the camera, it's pretty obvious.
Oh, there we go.
Please.
There we go.
Now, okay, you see how there's a big brass rod in the middle? So what I didn't like complain about on the show, when I took that bite, I bit so hard into that brass rod because at a certain point I knew it was cake, so it's soft.
Yeah.
So then you bite, and I did like
That hurts my teeth thinking about that.
right
I
on
don't
the rod.
like that.
And I
don't
just
like
had
it.
that moment where I was like, you guys fucked up. I'm gonna sue Quibi into the ground.
I gotta be honest. I thought 5,000 was the low end of game show prizes.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It was probably the most frugal Quibi was.
Yeah.
It was like $1 billion venture.
I know. Because I was like, in my mind, I was like, a low thing would be like 10,000. I'd be like,
Yeah.
let's talk. Like, you're going to go on a game show. So it's
It'd
like,
be insane if it was a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, $1 million prize.
I've been on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Have I told you that?
No.
Oh, I was a phone. I was not the phone a friend. I was, in later seasons. I don't know if you know. I didn't know till I was there. They brought your like phone a friend in person, so you just had a friend there.
Oh my God.
So one of my coworkers, like 5 years ago, got picked to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and he asked me, and we were like close, but like it was like he's just like, I just think that you'd be like, a lot of stuff like randomly, and I was like, okay. So I'll tell this real quick, but I was the person that went with him, and it's insane. You sit all day in a room where they play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, not the live feed, but they just play old episodes. So you're like studying, you're like, and I'm like, I'm not even the one going, but I was so nervous to so
No offense. I wouldn't.
You don't think I can do it?
But like, I don't
Who
see
would you pick?
You're not like weird conversation trivia guy. You're not like,
Okay, but who would you pick that you know?
Oh my God. It would be like, I would have to think it would be one of my on the spectrum friends who just knows like a.
Okay, that's true.
Or my stepfather. My stepfather is pretty smart about that
Okay,
stuff.
well, he picked me, and and so anyways, we're there. It's a very nerve-wracking day, and also I had to go to a wedding or something. So and my dad had to pick me up. It was like, so my dad had to like drive to Connecticut while I was filming Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Who was the
to pick me
host
up.
at this time?
What's his name? The guy that does Bachelor.
Who was fired? Who's no longer doing
Yes,
Bachelor?
Chris
Okay.
Harrison. Chris Harrison.
Great.
I think he was host. Who did it before him?
Well,
There
Regis was the original.
No, we didn't have Regis. There was someone before him though that everyone really
There's a
liked.
the blonde woman?
No. Sorry, that's Meredith Vieira. There was was it like
see, this
Terry
is-
Crews? Or
Just to pause.
What?
This is why you wouldn't be my Who Wants to Be a Millionaire guy.
Someone more popular did it, and then Chris Harrison was doing it
Okay.
when I was there, I think. Anyways, so they go up, and I felt like people really liked me in the crowd because again, my performer thing went on, and all they did was be like, and here's his coworker Russell Daniels, and I was like, woo! Like in the crowd,
Oh
like
my
big
God.
woo in the crowd, and which I didn't tell Quibi that, but I wasn't on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but
We cashed the check. It's
yeah.
okay.
So, but anyways, I told him before, 2 categories I know nothing about are religion and art, like art history,
Yeah.
or like any sort of art question, like painting, like that kind of art,
Yeah.
like music, all that stuff would have been better. But and it was a religious art like question.
No,
It was so
a religious
funny.
art
It was like
question?
it was about like this painting of some religious figure, and I was like, couldn't believe that it was the combination of the 2 things that I said that I know no knowledge on.
Hilarious.
So he didn't use me. He was like, and he lost. He didn't use me and guessed. And
Did he use one of his things?
Oh yeah, he I think he won $10,000 total.
Mm.
We didn't have a deal. So
You
that
didn't
was
get
all
anything
him.
for the day.
No, well, he paid for a hotel room. We went up the night before because it was really early, like a call the next day.
If you did that for me and I won 10,000, I mean, at the very
It
least.
might have been 5 though. I think it was in the 5 to 10 range. But I
At the very
remember
least, I'd
thinking
take
I
you out
wasn't
to like
expecting-
an amazing
I
dinner.
think he did. He did take me to dinner like the night before. It was an agreed upon thing, but it was just funny because I didn't have anything to do. It was truly like, but it was funny. I felt a lot of pressure. Be like, if I get put me in coach, and I didn't want to get put in though. So, anyways,
That's so funny. The 2 topics in the religious painting of that's all it took. And you're like, I don't know the answer to this.
know that.
Is this on anywhere?
I had a person contact me once saying they saw it, like when it came out.
Oh my
They saw
God, we
me.
have to find it.
But yeah, we'll try to find it.
we
but-
have to find it. So,
Okay, yeah.
num, 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 num. Do you see that big brass round?
You're taking home the grand prize of $5,000. Congratulations, my friend. It's pretty cool.
Oh, Gianmarco.
The pop and lock, the 2 moves I still remember.
We're gonna get a couple strikes in Brian's house here. Groban versus Greenberg. Granny style.
Don't worry, you'll win.
Ta-ta, everybody. Stay sweet.
Bye.
Wow.
Okay.
So
Gianmarco,
wait.
go ahead.
So the one thing that didn't make it, which I knew,
yes,
I love this, where this was the kind of persona I wanted to capture, where Josh Groban was like, "What will you do if you win the grand prize?" And I was like, "Get this scrubbed from the internet," and Josh said, whispered to me, "Me too."
Yeah.
And I'm so curious, like Josh tweeted this, and someone commented like, "I've lost so much respect for you that you did this show." And I just think about like him. I think about these two very successful actors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what kind of money did they get paid?
Can I tell you,
feel like
no one
Quibi,
wanted to be there.
You did feel
when
that.
I tell you
felt
that,
it.
I'm not saying, I'm telling you no one wanted to be there. I'm telling you the producer, everyone making the show, it was just something happened where it was, you were like, who thought of it? Was it Chrissy Teigen just thought we should do the show, and then suddenly it was happening? Because the energy behind, but everyone infiltrated, and it's in the height of a pandemic too.
So you're like, what are we taking a risk for? The Wire season 6? No.
But it was very clear. God love him. Josh Groban did not want to be there, and
he wasn't like a dick. No one was a dick.
No,
it just like was an
everyone
air
was
of like,
very nice. It was
what
just
are
one
we
of those things.
doing?
What the hell are we doing here? I mean, we were literally, the discussion was talking. They were talking about coming back from, New York. It was just like it was one of those things where I felt like we were the most like excited to be there because maybe we were going to win a little money. But I know that they were getting a lot more money than we were getting to be there. But they did not want to be there, and that was funny.
I would do anything to know.
Josh Groban asked us about UCB. We talked to him about UCB.
What did he say about it?
I don't remember. I can't remember. Had UCB closed by then?
Yeah, maybe not. It was. I don't think it had closed quite yet. No. This was like what, June?
We were like, you made a joke. You said because you said he'd been there before, and you joked about we should have him on as a guest for our show. Oh, and he's like, I think I have something.
I think it was more just like he didn't like. We were joking, we were joshing.
Oh yeah, we were joking.
And I was like, yeah, we do a show at UCB once a month. If you ever want to do it, and then rather than just be like, haha, he just turned away. The way you said it for me felt so clearly like you were joking. Like we weren't really asking him to be on our show. We would have honestly taken him, but obviously it was making a joke, and he reacted like it was a serious ask, and like it was just like funny because he clearly like was like just stopped interacting. It's one of those things where he was
hopefully,
very nice. Hopefully I'll be
He's
successful enough someday to like understand it. But like part of me think it would be cool to be like, he'll be like, yeah, I'll do the fucking sketch show. I'll sell at the sketch show and have everyone like lose their fucking mind. Yeah. But maybe as he's like, whoa, when I perform in New York, I make $1 million each time.
Do you imagine how many people have asked him to be on their sketch show?
Hey, if you love comedy so much, Josh, you got to start at the bottom. You don't get to just be in the office and you're funny.
Do you know what else I almost wanted to say to him is that he was in The Great Comet, right? He did that on Broadway.
Yes.
So I know the guy. So that show happened before in a smaller venue, and I, through a friend of a friend, know the guy that was playing the lead part. And then they were like, everyone is going to Broadway, except we are going to recast the lead with Josh Groban. So he was like the understudy on Broadway, but it was just funny. And he got to go on a bunch of times, but it was funny to be like, I want to be like, hey, Josh Groban, you took over that part. And I understand why. I understand, the whole thing, but it is like a very funny thing because it was so many people's Broadway debut. I think that he's been on Broadway and other things. He's doing fine. But
this is how it goes. I worked with an actor once who twice he was in 2 plays that went on to win Emmy Awards, did a regional production, and then when it went to Broadway, he was replaced by a more famous person twice. And you're like, this business.
I know. I feel weird sometimes to tell a story like that, and you're like, I don't really know that person that well, and I just told it on a podcast. And it's easy to. Well, yeah, but you did
not say anything about them being bitter. You just said the circumstances.
No, just the circumstances.
I want to hear later how bitter they were.
And
what they said about Josh. Nice, Josh Groban. Well, Josh, I commented on one Instagram thing to Josh. I just want him to follow me. I wanted to get him on the pod.
Come on, Josh. If he was one of the Patreons.
There is some big. So I'm at Mohegan Sun, and last night our show was pretty light. And part of the reason, not the whole reason, I'm no name, but part of the reason was Tom Segura, famous stand-up comedian, was working this venue literally next door.
Yeah.
In the casino.
In the casino. So
So
there's like a big arena, and then there's the roadhouse,
yeah,
the-
Comics Roadhouse. And apparently all these people were coming to Comics Roadhouse where I were performing, and they were like, we're so excited for Tom. And the bouncer, who's very kind to me, he's a good buddy, was like, oh, he's next door. And these are the kind of shots I take. I wrote Tom's Instagram, just being like, hey, I'm the comedian next door. Hope you have a great show, in the hopes of him being like, come by and do a quick guest spot.
Yeah.
Or I'll swing by your show.
Yeah.
But nothing. You got to take these swings.
You gotta.
And now that I'm verified, occasionally people will be like, oh, let's
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
Maybe this guy could help me.
So if anyone knows Josh Groban, personally, let him know. We'd like to reconnect. We could talk about other things. We don't talk about eye candy.
Yes. It would be fun, though. I just want to know how much he got paid. He clearly, whatever it was in his contract, he had to still promote it.
I mean,
because he did do all the shares and the
oh
tweets.
yeah. The other thing too, I was thinking is that they probably filmed that whole season. The other thing I would say is that they picked us for the first episode, right? Like, so we had to been okay.
We must have been interesting if we were. Yeah, that's a great point. We were.
Or
we were in the first episode.
Those two celebrities have more followers on Instagram.
I'm looking at our patrons, and I'm wondering if we lost one because I thought we had 26, and now we're back at 25.
Oh my god. It's a up and down. It's really like.
Oh, we just got Paige Howard. Okay, I was worried that was like Paige. Who
we know
else we
Paige.
captioned?
Paige and Tim.
Oh yeah. We got Paige. We got who? I want to see who our recent ones are because we got a recent one. Maybe Tova. Maybe Tova quit. She was like, I'm done. This fucking Patreon. We appreciate you guys on the Patreon.
We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, talk to them about. So please send us. This has got to stops. We're still gonna do the Bachelor, the episode of the Bachelor party roast that I did.
I just got so stressed about tomorrow's live show.
Are you really stressed? What are you stressed about?
What are we going to talk about?
Well, he's going to be a guest. We have a guest.
Yeah.
We have a musical person, and I think we're going to do a thing where we are going to ask the audience to.
This is the guy that stops.
This has got to stop. So, yeah, I think it would be cool to ask the audience to.
The audience.
Yeah. Well, okay.
We'll see.
We have 3. Last we checked, we had 3 sold tickets. I got a 4th one today.
Wow.
And then I think, is your wife still going to be there?
I think so, and she hasn't bought a ticket yet.
I'm gonna get her a comp. I said all the patrons get a free ticket, and hopefully
great.
these live shows will get bigger and bigger. And if you're a Patreon member, we will get you your own free tickets. Who the fuck unsubscribed? I want to find this.
They need to tell us why, and if it's financial, then I always understand.
It was
who was it?
Mason.
Mason who?
Oh no, Mason.
Wait, we should be talking about this.
Well,
Do other
they're gone.
podcasts talk about this?
Well, I think at a certain point, their numbers are just going up.
Oh, okay. Wait,
They go
who
up
was
more
Mason?
than they go down. Well, I'm gonna write them and find out what went wrong.
Oh, Mason, we're
They were
sorry.
given $10 a month though. So look, listen, you guys, we're growing. If I get SNL, this could
We're
we could have
growing.
some we could have some big guests, big SNL guests. So thank you for continuing to be a patron. Before you quit, reach out to me and
Tell us what we can do better.
We're at a rare point right now where you could be like, I'm gonna quit unless you call me and talk to me for 30 minutes, and Russell will do it.
No, Gianmarco will do it. But I will. I'll be supportive.
We appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
If you didn't come to the live show, no worries. We'll have more live ones soon. And thank you so much, Russell. Thank you for
Thank you
doing this, buddy. And thank you for doing
I love you. Thank you.
I love you too, buddy. Eye candy. Here we go. This is the downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside.